Welcome in to another week of YouTube Live. Excited to be here, Ron.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Happy to have you guys in here. Excited to get here, excited to get started now.
Get your guys' questions in the chat. We spend this next 30 minutes going over deals, going over questions, Q&A, stuff like that. Ron will share a screen. We're going to go over some deals. Put your questions in the chat.
Nice. All right. We'll get started here in a minute, guys. Get your questions if you guys don't mind letting us know where you are where you are from. Your land experience always helps.
Anthony from Orlando. Nice. Hey, Martha. Welcome, Anthony. Welcome, Gregory. Jamie Rodriguez. Max. Max comment on your first ice bath. What marketing channels do you recommend? We'll get to that here shortly, Scott, sorry. Welcome in, guys. Yeah, let us know where you guys are from in the chat and drop your questions in. We're going to get the questions, deals, all that type of stuff. Excited to be here.
You guys are coming in. Let us know where you're from. Let us know your land investing experience, and we are going to get started here in a minute.
Brandon said, can we bring back the Black Friday special? Unfortunately not. That takes a lot of we don't really make money on that offer because we give so much away. It's just once a year type of thing. We will have offers throughout the year, though. They're not going to be the Black Friday offer, but it'll be similar stuff going on throughout the year, Brandon. But yeah, thanks for asking about that. But this program's still the same. It's just more expensive and you don't get as much, but you still get the same courses. You still get the same courses and you know, everything you need, the community and all that good stuff. Welcome, Bob. Welcome, Scott. Welcome, David from Gilbert, Arizona. I was looking at land there earlier today in Gilbert, actually, or around that area. St. Mary's, Georgia. Thomas West, welcome in again. Eugene, Oregon, welcome in. Moore joined. I spent a year over in Israel with Moore. Good to have you, man.
Oh, really?
Naz, welcome in. Fulin, Ryan Kuchler, welcome, guys. All right, let's get into it. Throw your guys' questions in there. Let us know where you guys are from. Excited to get into it. We got 30 minutes, and we're going to go into some deep deals and answer a lot of good questions, provide a ton of value here. Excited to be here, though.
St. Petersburg. I saw a question. Would it drastically affect the value of a lot if there's a small creek in the middle of it? It matters if it affects the buildability. That's the only time it can drastically improve the value of land. A creek, even if it's a small creek, if it affects buildability in a negative way, that's when it can hurt your sale price in a negative way.
Yeah.
Or if the creek is, if it's sloped because of the creek. But let's get into a deal real fast, Dan. I'm going to share my screen. Really good question, Jaime.
Usually things are sloped because of a creek, but as long as it's not too significant.
Yeah.
I mean, a creek is there because of the slope.
Exactly. All right, we have 7.1 acres. We're in McMinn County, Tennessee. Purchase price $14,000. They said they offered $24,000, Dan. Negotiated down because of the slope. So we'll see that slope here in a second. Am I sharing my screen?
You're not.
Here you guys go. So we have 7.1 acres right off a highway. Again, they said they offered $22,000. What I'm saying, Dan. They negotiated down to $14,000. Looks like good land. We also have this utility easement, so that might be part of the reason they negotiated down as well.
Yeah.
So we'll look at the slope here in a second. So this is electrical wires coming all the way here. See what we have in terms of the slope that he's talking about. Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, Dan.
That's not bad at all. I mean, you have 100, 200 feet in the front, plenty. That's good land. I mean, besides the utility easement, that utility easement is
it's a big utility easement. This takes a lot of land. So if we look at this being 7 acres, and then we look how much land is the utility easement, and the utility easement is not completely useless, but this is 1.77 right here. You guys can see 1.77 of the 7 acres is the utility easement. 7.1 acres.
You still have almost 5 acres over that are wooded and untouched and good land. Yeah, no, this isn't too bad. It's all going to come down to price on this very straightforward land. It's not nearly as sloped as I thought it was going to be. Is that uphill? Yeah.
It's going uphill. Yep. Yeah, I thought this was going to be worse, honestly. You have a really nice buildable spot here. You'll have some good land behind you. That's the right thing to do. Like when you have reasons to negotiate down, I'm not saying lose deals over it, but if it causes risk, things like utility easements, this slope's not really bad, but the utility easement causes increased risk in deals.
Yeah, and Moore just asked one question based on the slope, and walk them through the contour lines. I don't know if you know how to read these lines or not, Moore, but Moore asked, so slope is not a huge issue as long as there's a solid size flat section to build on. Would you offer end up being based on the flat section in that case? It really depends the area and the region and what's around it. So when looking at comps, you always want to find like kind comps. And if you're in a mountain, because you're in Oregon, and if you're investing in land or looking at land in Oregon, it's a lot different than looking at land in McMinn County. Is this Tennessee, Ron?
Yep.
McMinn County, Tennessee, if this is a flat area. So it really depends the region, but in general, you just need a flat spot to build if the area is relatively used to it. But as you see, there's a house to the right, there's a house to the left, there's houses across the street. This area is working on this similar slope. So it's going to be around market value. Like this is a buildable lot.
And you're not going to assume, like, it's one thing if it's wetlands or something, but you're not going to just say we're only going to take into account 3 acres of the land being usable. That's not how it really works with slope typically, unless it's just crazy slope. But this is not the case. Like this is very walkable back here. Slope. It does have some slope, but this is usable. This is going to sell maybe like 5 acres, 5.5 acres, more so because the utility easement.
Yeah, the slope's very normal. This isn't going to pull the price down because of the slope.
Yep.
Especially off the road. So if you have like steep slope right off the road, it can be a little different, but this was much less sloped off the road. And then it gets more sloped in the back, which people kind of like. You'll put a nice house in the front and then have a rolling hill behind you.
So we're all the way at the north part of McMinn County, Tennessee. Let's pull it up real fast. So price is $14,000. That's a great job negotiating down. I think you had a couple of reasons. I honestly think, like I said, I think the utility was more of a reason to negotiate down the slope, but it worked. So let's see what we have here.
And what are we in for again?
In for 14,000. So we're gonna be all in 15.5. I can't imagine this deal not making sense, to be honest with you. It's a good area of Tennessee.
And I want to walk through the slope again after we analyze this. Just we had a few questions in there.
Let me see what's for sale real fast. So for sale, we have 8 for 106, and I'm gonna change this so we have the newest listings here. 5 for 125. That's just overpriced, I think. Yeah, 5 for 125. That's just overpriced. Really nothing on the market, Dan, up here that I see. So 5 for 67. I mean, we got this for $14,000. Or they got this for $14,000.
So where are we in Tennessee?
We're up here somewhere. Oh, in terms of Tennessee. Yeah. Knoxville, in between Knoxville and Chattanooga.
Nice.
It's a really good area.
Hit satellite real quick. Is this a mountainous area or is this? No, it's kind of.
Once you go down a little more, this is actually a pretty flat area.
It turns into Blue Ridge
Southeast. Yeah.
I like this. This is cool. Really good.
But sold comps, I mean, this deal is going to be, I think this is a decent comp right here, 5 for 45. This probably has some slope as well, I'm guessing, based on what it looks like. So, I mean, I would post yours up for like 49 or even 54.9. Like this is a very, very solid deal.
Yeah. And, yeah, this is one, especially if you guys are new and you guys can chalk up 14 grand somehow or scrap it from friends and family, aunts, uncles, your own pocket, whatever it is. This is going to be buy 14, sell for mid 40s. Maybe you'll push that since the market seems hot. You're in between 2 good cities, Chattanooga and Knoxville, and Tennessee in general is a really, really good area to be for land. And I think this is one, if you can fund yourself, if not, no big deal. There's funding everywhere. This is a home run deal. You get it in a heartbeat, but this is one that's, you're going to 4x your money. 3.5x, whatever it ends up being, but so really solid.
Back into the contour lines, Dan, real fast. So you guys, I forgot to do that.
Let's pull up the KML as well.
Okay,
I think that would be good to show.
So you can see here 9. I'm gonna zoom in just a little more. So this is 960 above sea level, 980, 1,000, 1,020. So all of these lines are 20 feet of slope. So that's 20 feet of elevation change over this. So you can like go in and look even at like the percentage and take this with a grain of salt because this is. So I mean, this is 200 feet. You can see at the top right, 200 feet, and it's 20 feet of slope up. So that's a 10% slope. And that's what you probably are going to have at this beginning stage. And then you might have 15% up here, Dan. But it goes from 960 above sea level to 1080 over the length of this parcel.
Yeah, and take this with, you always want to cross measure it. So Google has, Ron's going to save this here. Google Earth has a slope elevation tool too. We're going to show you right now. You always want to cross check it with that. But before we buy any parcels, guys, we always get boots on the ground. We get drone shots. We get a droner in the area and we address our concerns. We tell them what to get pictures of. We have a template for that if you guys are members in the member thing, but we pretty much tell them what to get. And then if there's any concerns, we want to point those out. If we think the back half's wet, we're like, get some pictures of the back half. Let me know how wet it really is, or get pictures of the slope off the road, stuff like that to address the issues before buying. And Ron's going to pull this up on KML so we can kind of analyze it on that as well. You want to do both. And guys, if you like what you're seeing, you want to see us review more deals, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Like and subscribe. There's a thumbs up button. It really helps push this mission and push what we're doing, creating all of the freedom from land to other people. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe. Let me get back to this. So this is KML. So we were looking on Google Earth before. This is the KML, which is, I'm sorry, we were looking at ID.land before.
ID.land.
This is the KML, which is Google Earth. So on Google Earth, you can do a few things. So you can also look at the slope on here. If you hit this little ruler button up here, you go to path, and then you go to show elevation profile. You start at the front and you go to the back. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Hold on.
Yeah, it's sometimes a little buggy, but it works.
I'm gonna clear that real fast and start over with that. You start at the front. Start at the front. No, that's back to front. No, that's not.
Well, you can still look at it. It's the same slope if it's back to front.
Yeah, no. There we go. Okay. So this is front to back, and you can see that arrow move as I go through the elevation profile right here. And starting from the beginning, the front, we're at 956, which is very similar. I think it's at 960 on Google Earth. You can see how flat this area is.
This is really nice land. Yeah.
Up here. Like this is very, very little elevation. People are going to like this back. Like someone might put money into it and build it a little farther back and have a higher view and put it farther off the road. It's going to be a very expensive drive away. But there's a ton of possibility with this land. The only negative is the utility easement, Dan.
Yeah, this is really like from a slope perspective, this is very good. And especially what you can also do if you have slope from left to right or you're concerned, you can measure it from any angle you want. Obviously, we just did the center of the property. You can go on the left, you can go on the right, whatever, and try to find that buildable spot. And also go on Street View, Ron, real quick.
Oh yeah, so you can also, that's the first thing. You can also go on Street View. Let me clear this off for you guys. I can see a little better. Take your little man up here. And not everywhere in the country you can do this. Not every road, but we're on a main road right here.
And you want to see, so now you can see kind of the slope off the road. So it's actually dipping down before it dips up.
Yeah. And
you can kind of drive up and down the road with using your cursor and check the different angles and all that good stuff. So between this
utility easement, we should be able to see slope pretty well, Dan, because it's going to be a cleared area. Hold on one second as I go over here. Here. Let's look right down this utility easement, which is part of our land. Like this definitely has slope. Like there's no doubt about it. There are going to be buildable spots.
That's nice.
Yeah. I think it's a beautiful land. It might take a little bit extra money than a flat area to build, but it slopes down, then you'll have flat and then it'll kind of go steeper. But
yeah,
it's really
good
cool.
job on this deal. I hope you guys learned something. Like I said before, if you guys are enjoying this and you want us to review more deals, hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button and we'll get to them here. But let's go through some questions while we're catching up. And Ron, I also want to go over a deal review if we have time today on something we've done and closed recently to kind of review it. Like we've been doing.
Parkgrass, what's a KML? KML is basically the file type that Google Earth, I don't know what it stands for, honestly. But it's the file type that Google Earth takes. It's whatever that is. I don't know.
Yeah. KML, it's Google Earth's file. Whatever. Yeah. Downloadable file.
Let me go up in the questions real fast. Any videos about FEMA flood map and explaining how to use said map? I went over a wetlands and a floodplain map. It was probably two to 3 weeks ago on YouTube. So if you go back, the wetlands was definitely in the title. And I kind of walked through some of that. We'll see if we can find a deal with some floodplain or something, maybe. Any questions there that you see? Get your questions in here, guys.
Here's one. Jamie asked, how far when it comes to distance can you comp the seller's property? I think he's asking about how far the comps need to be, maybe.
One more time.
How far when it comes to distance can you comp the seller's property?
Oh, so if you're trying to like find comps, how far away
Can you go? Is that what you're trying to ask Jamie? Like how far?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it matters. Like you want to get the nearest comps that are good comps and comparable land, but you don't want to force comps that might be outliers or might be something like that. It really varies, honestly, from the area. If you're in a very populated area with a lot of comps, you don't need to go far. But if you're in a place where there's not many deals, you might have to go 5-10 miles, and it's going to give you a good starting point. It might not give you the exact price. And that's why land's so difficult, Dan, is because how few comps there are in rural America.
It can get really, really difficult. I was looking at properties in Mojave County, Arizona today, and there's like 400 comps or something, or 300 comps in the last 12 months, and then there's 250 for sale. And it's crazy to see how many land comps there were. And I was like, it's very easy to comp land in this area. A lot on the East Coast or in certain areas, you might not have a comp within 20 miles, and that comp is, you have a 15-acre property. The closest comp you can get is 25 acres, and you'll see that like comps can get very, very far in between. So you got to work with what you have and kind of sandwich the data together.
Can you go over this question real fast, Dan?
Yeah. How do you validate a text is legit when someone texts you asking to purchase the land using texting software? I had someone text me for land I own using software. How do you
wait for land you own?
Yeah. So he's saying he got a text from someone.
So they're trying to get a deal. So it's not like they're going to.
It's probably legit if you're talking to them. I just don't know. They're going to be trying to get it under market value, but the offer itself is probably legit. You just gotta, there's different companies like there. It just depends who it is and what. So he said, how do you validate it? So I guess we can give them steps. Did they give you an offer price, Anthony? I'm curious about offer price, and I'm also curious about the time frame and everything else. So if you're looking to sell your land, you can kind of pursue it, but if not, they can be very legit for sure.
But they're going to probably want a deal. Like if they're reaching out to not off market, they're probably not. I wonder if they're reaching out to just MLS, but I'm guessing they're reaching out to all.
They're probably doing how'd you acquire it, Anthony? Because if you acquired it, no, they did not. They said they were. So they're probably just trying to wholesale it to did you say they were a builder? Is that what it said? Yeah.
It might be. If they're a builder, that's that's a decent
connection
opportunity.
Yeah.
They'll be willing to pay more if they really like what you have, but they'll still probably want to get a deal. But that might be 80% of market value where you can still make money. Do you resend mail to the same county more than once? Yes. Not every county, but a good amount of counties we re-hit.
I always recommend it. You want to hit it multiple times. If it's a good county, you had results, whatever it is, you'll get results. To say people think an area can only be hit once. Like an area can be hit a ton of times. Sending a piece of mail is just one method. You can mail, you can text, you can hit again, you can remail, you can text again, you can cold call. It's marketing. You got to look at it as a funnel more, I think, Ron.
Yep. Just joined the Discord today. I'm not familiar with how to navigate a Discord. I have 10 million plus portfolio, some land, but mostly Section 8. I want to buy and sell more land. Love your content. Appreciate it, Lorenzo. Yeah, we own some Section 8 too. It can be a bear sometimes, but yeah, happy to have you here.
Nice. Also, Jessica Thom put a deal in there if you want to go over that, Ron, if we have more time.
Yeah, let me go over this deal. A recently closed deal, Dan, real fast. I'm going to show this. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We have another video coming out tonight as well. This is live. This video here you're watching now is live, and this will be reposted on YouTube, so you can watch that. Here we have 64 acres, Dan. This is a deal that we just closed on the sell side in Anson County, North Carolina. The interesting, why I want to bring this one up, because this is a little weird, Dan, and then it also was a tax deed where we could not close on this normal. We could not use a normal title company. It was not insurable because this property was bought in a tax sale, in a foreclosure. I don't know when it was, 10 years ago or so. So when you guys get properties back that are a part of a tax sale at some point, if they're in the last 20 years, 30 years, maybe even, they're not going to be insurable in normal means. So what we had to use is a company called Tax Title Services out of California, and they actually have a certification process where they can insure this. I know I'm getting kind of in the weeds here, Dan, but that's what we had to do for this. So it was probably like a 90-day, 45-day buy, I think, instead of a normal 2-week buy. Then we ended up selling this probably after a month or so on the market.
Yeah, and tax, like Ron said, tax title service. This property was not insurable because it was a tax sale. And if the old owner came after it and tried to file some sort of dispute saying he was still involved in the property, you can get in some trouble. So pretty much lenders won't lend money to properties that aren't insurable. That's why it's important to get it insured. So we had to go through a long process and do it. But this was let's go over the deal, Ron.
Yeah, quiet title is something that someone asked that. Yeah, they're good, Parker. Quiet title is essentially ensuring the transfer deed. So after a tax sale, it's that the person who got the properties foreclosed has a redemption period. There's just a long process in terms of making sure it's insurable for title companies. Type into Google what is quiet title, and I'm sure there's YouTube videos on it as well. But going over this deal, it's 64 acres, Anson County, North Carolina. I think it was in city limits. A little bit of slope, nothing crazy. Our buy price was 135, right around 135,000, right around there. Comps showed anywhere from 250 to 350. This is outside of Charlotte. You can see Charlotte's up here. So we're not probably an hour and 15 minutes maybe from Charlotte is my guess, right off the highway. Let me see if this is in city limits, Dan. I don't believe it was right outside of city limits. Here's one with floodplain. So I think someone asked earlier about floodplain. Floodplain and wetlands are different. Wetlands is typically going to be like standing water. So you can see these creeks are kind of pulling up as wetlands. That's no concern. Floodplain is a chance of flooding. It's usually a 1% floodplain is what it is, where wetlands a lot of times is going to be standing water. What are your thoughts on this, though, Dan, when we bought this? This was a little concerning because it's a 1 acre parcel, I believe, 2 acre parcel that's cut in the middle of our.
Yeah, it's weird.
Acres.
It was a cemetery too, right?
No, this was not a cemetery.
Oh, okay. Are you sure?
We got a lot of bad feedback on that, though.
We did, and we kind of knew we would. The reason why I wasn't as concerned about it is because I knew it was at the kind of front corner of the property. If this was smack out in the middle, if that was smack out in the middle, I would have been much concerned. It still takes up a lot of room, but that's probably 7-8 acres, and you're kind of past it, and it wasn't being used. There's no house on it. And I think the manager of this deal talked to the owner of that as well. Or something happened where he figured it out what was going on, and they're rarely there. So is it a defect? Yeah, but is it a huge defect? No, this was a hot property and sold pretty quick for this acreage run. This was, expensive property.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we ended up buying this one for 135. So I remember, and this happens a lot, guys. You get realtors that tell you a price. And so we had a partner on this deal who was responsible for selling the deal, and he got a realtor that worked more in this county. So worked more over here, closer to Charlotte. And I remember him telling the manager, our partner, like, we can probably sell this for 400. Maybe it was 450 even, Dan. And I never thought it was going to sell for anywhere close to that, to be honest. I don't remember what I did feel like we were underpriced when we priced it for like 250 originally, but he listened to this realtor. He posted up for, I think, 400, maybe 450. And we had to price drop. I think we ended up listing it for a 300, working down to 300 after a month or so. And I think we closed for 270, maybe 280. Yeah. But realtors are going to tell you what you want to hear. And I remember, because I talked to the manager and he was excited because what the realtor said, and the realtor was using comps over here. This is a big difference to over here when you have a very, very big growing city.
Yeah, absolutely. So we bought this for 135. Had a little concerns, did due diligence, kind of weaved it out. We called the owner of the other property. I do remember that. We got some information because the gate was locked. That's what it was, Ron. So we had to find more information on why the gate's locked to make sure it wasn't their gate and they were trying to do something. But yeah, we talked, and I think they cut the bolt off or unlocked it for us or whatever happened. But yeah, really, really solid deal and a really, really solid market.
Yeah.
Sean York asked, elementary question, if you're in a major metro area, and do you target a county, or how do you target a county with all the increase in competition marketing to those counties? How much competition can each county support? Shannon actually just replied to this in the chat also, and she said their free course gives amazing detailed step-by-step instructions on how to select a county. I'll put the free course link in, or Ron, do you have that free course link?
I think it's landinvestingonline.com/free-course.
Sign up. Yeah.
No, Jessica asked if this property is landlocked. So this actually is, this is access right here. I think we had a survey as well. We didn't do a survey, but there was a survey recorded. And then this is a public road actually going back here. I think we had a gate right here. And this gate right here is what, I'm not even sharing my screen anymore, guys. I'm sorry. So this Winslow Boulevard going up here, and then this Goldenrod Lane, and then there's a gate actually right here. But yeah, this was all legal access per the survey that we saw. Even when roads are named, you want to confirm the access because it can get a little hairy. But this one came out really well.
Yeah.
Will you create a video on how you structure your LLC and what company you use? You want to talk about that? It's not complicated. You don't need to overthink this. We have people doing it in their personal name. We have people doing 6 figures a year in their personal name, and they don't have an LLC. Obviously, we're not lawyers or accountants.
Yeah. Don't overthink this part until you're making good 6 figures. Just get an LLC or do it out of your own name and get an operating agreement and everything else you need. Get an EIN. Keep it very, very simple. Don't overthink attorney, accounting, anything until you're actually making really good money, in my opinion.
If I have a lot for 30K, if I have a lot for, hold on.
I sell my city. I just put the link in there. It's landinvestingonline.com/free-course-sign-up. And that's to get the free course that Shannon was talking about.
Yep. If I have a lot for 30K under contract and the comps are 1 million to 700K, what number should I close the lot for? If it's under contract, are you saying 30K a margin? Confirm your question, Ricky. Kabir asked, how much does it cost to get a survey through county or private company? How much cost? It depends. It really, it just depends the size. It depends how much you're trying. If you're trying to break and subdivide a lot, it depends how much you're trying to subdivide. So there's a ton of, just like any project, it's like electrical work coming to your house. Like, it matters how big the job is. That's the same thing with survey.
Yeah, exactly. And do we have a couple minutes to go over Jessica's, or are we wrapping up?
We have 3 minutes, so probably not.
All right, we'll get to that. Send that into Discord, Jessica. We can take a look at that. Let's see what else we got. Just put info.
What was the link? The link Daniel just posted, so you guys can see it posted from us, landinvestingonline.com/free-course-sign-up. If you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We have videos come out 3 to 5 days a week, just depending on the week. We try to bring as much value to you guys as possible. Hit the like button in here. It really helps. What was your most profitable state last year? I don't know, Bob, honestly, off the top of my head.
We have 2 segments of the business too. We fund a lot of deals and we do a lot of deals. And our acquisition method has changed over time, just because our community and stuff and funding deals. So I'd have to look. I mean, members of the community are getting deals in almost every state.
Yeah. And we're trying to, one thing big folks of ours is doing bigger deals. We're trying to push our members to do bigger deals, not just 6-figure deals, but you talk about $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 deals. There are so many of those deals out there, Dan, and it's cool to see how many members are getting those right now.
We had an opportunity to come today. I don't know if it's a good opportunity or not, but it's a buy for 800 and sell, or it came yesterday or sometime this week. Buy for 800,
like 1.6, 1.7.
They said that originally, and then I guess they came back and said with the around soft number 2. So there's 2 million. There's big deals out there. There's a lot of opportunities. That deal in particular for buy for 800,000, sell for 2 million would require subdivide, which they quoted, it must have not been anything major because they only quoted like $4,000 for the whole subdivide, which someone else asked us about, Ron, how much a subdivide cost. And it all depends on how much land you're subdividing and how many splits there are and how much work there is. It's always different.
This was 18 10-acre lots, and I thought I saw $10,000 on there, Dan, but that seems really, really cheap.
Oh, maybe it was 10,000. I thought I saw something cheaper.
It varies. Other than that, guys, sorry if I didn't get to you. I know some people send in deals. Scott, if you want to send it to me in the Discord, feel free to do that if you're in the Discord. Other than that, before you guys hop off, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. We have another video coming out, a podcast coming out tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. That's about buying back your time, Dan. I think that's a really good podcast, and that's a really good video just on scaling your business up.
Yep, absolutely. It's a really, really good. It's just buying back your time, how to outsource early on. I think it's going to be one of the most valuable podcasts that we've done personally.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. We will see you guys Friday in Discord on the Lunch and Learn. Other than that, have a really good night.
Yep. Thanks, guys.